Hello, world. I'm Chris Pirillo, and this is my pregnant wife, Diana Pirillo. What are you doing? I thought you were going to show off your baby
I
bump.
didn't know you were recording.
Well, you do now.
Yeah.
This is the LockerGnome Daily Report, or TLDR for short, your daily dose of geek news, product views, and answers that you can use. And we are in San Francisco for the Game Developers Conference, GDC. I hope to record a few videos on the conference floor when I go there here in another few hours. It's a chance that we had thanks to Intel. I'm going to be moderating a panel in their booth, which is right next to the Sony booth, and there's a bit of Sony news this morning. So, like I said, I hope to be able to record things on site and have them as separate videos available to everybody in this channel, independent of our daily TLDR. This is not being streamed live like I've done with other TLDRs because the Wi-Fi at this hotel kind of sucks. Diana is joining me because I you wanted her to join me. Isn't that reason enough, really, for this? And otherwise, we would be showing off our messy bed. I know I look exactly the same today as I did yesterday, but believe it or not, I've showered. I'm ready to go. Let me go ahead and offer credit. As you see the nice reflection of our hotel art, and I think, is that Diana's head in the reflection too? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's double Diana. Oh, and a tweet bot. Someone had sent a message. Yeah. So this is obviously my phone connected to the internet. Let me go ahead and slide through to give credit to the 509 patrons. We lost a patron.
We did.
Have no idea who left.
Oh.
And yeah, I'm kind of nervous now. It makes me wonder if we've reached our peak, if we're only going to have 509 supporters for the rest of this endeavor, which is really kind of disappointing. I mean, if more people don't value what I do greater than, like, let's say their favorite beverage once a month, $2 a month, really. That's all I'm hoping that I can connect with, or that you find as much value in what I do in here, or maybe even in the Pirillo vlog. Maybe we should start a separate Patreon campaign for the Pirillo vlog.
Oh, yeah.
Then we'll see which part of our community values that content more. What do you guys think about that? Well, you guys probably wouldn't necessarily care because you're watching TLDR for. Anyway, we lost one, and that really makes me sad. I hope we have not reached our peak. I would hope that there are more than just 500 people who care what we do. Anyway, so we're going to start the day off on a depressing note, having lost one. But the good news is we still have 509 people who love us. Thank you. We really appreciate the 509. So let me go ahead and slide through to give credit where credit is due. Now, this is Diana's first time in San Francisco, and as I'm sliding through the list of names to give credit, and by the way, if you want to join us as a patron, head over to chrispirillo.com as you see my webcam in the reflection. That's what's recording or this particular video. Diana, tell everybody what you think of San Francisco so far.
I love it. You want to know why?
Yeah, well, yes, because I have a lot of names to go through for various credits. So please tell us why you like San Francisco. Or wait, love.
Yeah, well, number one, I love the palm trees. Number two, I love the sun, and it's not really a hot sun, like a hot Texas sun. It's kind of like a warm, subtle sun.
A
And,
subtle sun.
yes.
But it's the same sun, you know.
And number three, I like how it's very laid back. It's kind of like being in California, not the like um, pretentiousness of LA. Is that
You're
am
no,
I
you're doing
gonna
pretty well, hon. You're
am I gonna offend
I don't think so. I think everybody understands what LA is, and there's a
Yeah.
reason we do not live in LA.
Like people are just dressed casually, comfortable, and that's what I like. And you still get to enjoy the California-esque of it. You know?
But what is California to you? You've really not spent a lot of time in California. This would really be your first true visit, other than flying through it.
Yeah, I guess when I think of California, I think of like Hollywood and LA, Louis Vuitton everywhere.
Yeah, but we really haven't had a chance to do a lot here. We've been busy. We took a meeting with one of the Patreon guys yesterday. Also met with some of my panelists for the discussion we're doing today. That's going to be recorded too. We're not going to record it in this channel, but I believe Intel's, I guess, helpers are going to be recording it. So hopefully that'll be uploaded to one of their YouTube channels to be able to to allow you to watch it. So there we go. Thank you, Hun, for filling that time so that I could give credit where credit was due for these patrons. Your name could be here in the next round of updates. I really appreciate those who have, made the effort and have placed a value other than on time with their time, which is very valuable, and are allowing us to kind of do this. Otherwise, I would not be recording this video or talking about these things if we did not have the patrons. And that's the truth. I'm here in San Francisco traveling, and I'm taking my time to update you with the latest rounds of headlines as I see them. And to tell you that we're doing that 30-minute go-to-meeting with one of you as well. We're going right after this over to a meetup. We're doing a meetup with people who live in San Francisco or the greater Bay Area, right down the street. And so hopefully you guys were paying attention and knew that we were doing that. I realize it's the middle of the week, middle of the day, but we don't really have a lot of time here. We're off tomorrow morning. We haven't even. I gave Diana, and you'll have to find out in the vlog, I guess. I said, what is the one thing that you want to do? Because we'll only have one time today, we'll only have this evening to do the one thing she wants to do. I think the answer is going to surprise you. Maybe it won't, if you know Diana that well. But this particular recording was also brought to you by GoToMeeting with HD Faces by Citrix. The powerfully simple way to meet online. You can share the same screen and see each other in HD video conferencing. Start hosting a GoToMeeting in seconds from your computer or mobile device by signing up for a free 30-day trial. Visit GoToMeeting.com, click the Try It Free button, and use the promo code Pirillo. And as I said, we're going to be doing a 30-minute go-to meeting with one of you. We talk about those details in our Friday TLDR recording. So hopefully that might be you. And speaking of hopefully, and going to GDC, I mentioned that the Sony booth is next to the Intel booth, which is where I'm going to be. Sony has revealed something called Project Morpheus. How do you like that name?
Yeah, sounds scary.
Well, yeah, but Morpheus was the character in The Matrix that was really kind of badass and take the... Do you remember The Matrix?
Yeah.
Okay.
I like something like Dandelion there.
Project Dandelion is what Diana would have named Morpheus, FYI. Actually, it's not a bad name.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's a cool name. You know I'm not a fan of flowers, although dandelions are weeds. I don't know if that's what they want to associate. Anyway, it's Sony's VR headset to be used with the PlayStation 4. It's got an accelerometer, gyroscope. It's got all the elements that you would expect it to have. This is probably the biggest news today to come out from GDC, and I'm hoping to get my head on it. I know it's going to be very, very popular, and I don't know anybody over at Sony who's within the booth who might be able to help me at least take a video recording with our camera to get more information, much like I did with the Oculus Rift a few years ago at CES. And Oculus has also, or the company that makes the Oculus Rift, has updated the developer kit. So they're definitely moving forward. But the Sony version of the VR headset makes what we've seen with the Oculus Rift look really clunky. Sony, from what it appears to be, and I've only seen the images at this point, I will see it in real life today. I don't know if I'm, as I said, going to record a separate video on it or actually just put it in the regular old Pirillo vlog, depending on what I'm able to do. It looks sexy. It really does. And this further separates the PlayStation 4 from the Xbox One in a pretty dramatic way. And I think, the Xbox One's fantastic, but for gaming, it just seems that Sony is owning it. Now, on the heels of this particular announcement, there's now been an announcement from Microsoft that they're allegedly working on a VR something, of course, because Sony's ruling the roost. And, as a matter of fact, for all you PS4 fans, and mind you, I cannot be seen as a fanboy of either platform because I don't have a PS4. And no longer do I have a PS3. Got rid of pretty much every one of my Xbox 360s except for one of them, and that's because I need it in a particular place for DVD playback. And I don't have an Xbox One. I'm not really much of a gamer. However, it would be very interesting to see how this works. Not just the idea of it, but I think Sony, I can't imagine them releasing something that was not that great. We will see how that goes. Like I said, even yesterday on the heels of the Android Wear announcement, where Google basically has this, basically an SDK, or their calls to manufacturers to design wearable technology using Android, of course, and other announcements came from it, and all these things sound great. But the problem is over time, as I've tried various gadgets and devices, I have been more disappointed than anything. Like, they sound great on paper. They may even look great. But just because something looks great doesn't mean it works great. And I've seen that happen over and over again. So I always reserve final judgment, until I've actually used it. And that's something that it's a lesson that I've learned over time as well. So it's fun to talk about, interesting to think about, but until I've actually had a chance to use it or immerse myself in it, it's not really something that I think I can talk too much more about without actually doing a hands-on. And at that point, it's probably just going to be a hands-on. Maybe this will get me to buy a PS4, although I get motion sickness, and I think a VR headset might further that, and I hate being sick. It's like I'm pregnant, because that's what happens with Diana. You gonna show the baby bump again at some point in this video?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Just making sure. I didn't know. PS4 is also going, or I guess Sony is going to be rolling out an update for the PS4 that's going to bring a rich video editor, HDCP off, and that's good for recordings, and Twitch archive support. So if you hadn't considered getting a PS4 because it lacked those features, well, now it's going to be getting those features. Simple software update for them. Sony seems to be listening to its community and ruling the roost. I don't know if there's a clear winner. And if I had a choice, I'd probably own both platforms. It's just right now the costs are a bit prohibitive for the type of gamer that I happen to be. I don't know. I just Tetris. That's the killer app, the game for me. Tetris. Or the panel that I'm moderating today at GDC is it's an HTML5 roundtable and talking about cross-platform gaming. Big fan of that. I mean, who cares what platform you use if you enjoy it and it's what you love? This isn't a religion. It's just a technology choice that at some point in the future will be outdated. Religions tend not to get outdated. When you believe in a religion, one day the chances of you believing in that religion 10, 20, 30 years from now are probably going to be very similar because it's tied to your identity. It's one of the reasons why I do not tie my technology choices to my identity. That to me is kind of scary. And I've seen people do it, and it's really, I'm not going to go into that right now. I kind of went into it yesterday. You can sue Google if you want. Of course, you can sue anybody, but apparently they have been accused by several parties of data mining their email. If you were a student and you used Google Apps as a student for your emails, you may have found yourself being violated by Google. Hello, what do you think Google does? I mean, Google wants your data. That's what they do. You are the product. Forget the search. They only want you to search and post and share because they can get data that's valuable to not just them, but their advertisers. I'm not exactly shocked. The big news was there was a class action suit that was denied. So the chances of you being a part of the class action against Google if you were a student and you likely found that your data had been mined by Google as a student who was using email, not thinking that your data would be mined, you would have to sue them individually. The class action was not pushed through because apparently each one of these various cases was different enough to not warrant a class action lawsuit. So there you go. If you were a student, use Google App for Domain, and you don't want didn't want your privacy violated, well, I would have probably told you, don't use Google anything. I know that on one hand they fight for user privacy, on the other hand they don't. Like they want your data. Period. End of story. That's what Google wants. I can't stress this enough. And I love Google. I do. I use Google all the time. I used a Google product to Google Drive to coordinate this slideshow I showed you at the beginning of this video. I searched for Google or on Google the other day when I needed quick data around something I was looking for in San Francisco. So it's not. I'm not slagging Google. I'm just saying, hey, this happened. This is news. This is information you deserve to know. The FCC. Is basically putting a stop on the in-flight phone rule at this point. There's still a bit of a potential issue when it comes to people using their phones, or smartphones as phones on flights. There's a possibility of making that happen. We were lucky enough and very happy about this. On our flight out to San Francisco yesterday, which we recorded in the vlog that I have to after I'm done speaking, and we're done doing the thing that Diana wants to do, I got to come back to the hotel, edit the video, and then wait 18 hours for it to upload to the internet. Luckily, it doesn't take me 18 hours to edit a vlog. But it was cool because it was the first flight that I was on, or that I know of, first flight that I was on when I could use a small electronic device as long as it was in airplane mode. And I was very, very happy about that because this is the way it always should have been. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the rule or regulation that would prohibit people from using their phone to talk to somebody on their phone. And to me, I guess I don't have an issue with it. I know other people do, like, well, you're on a plane and then they get all huffy about it. I'm sorry, that was my impression of my mom.
You're gonna be in trouble.
Oh, right. She's going to watch TLDR. She watches the vlogs. I don't think she watches this. Well, but, you know, there are certain people, I'm not going to say they're older or anything. There are certain people who don't think that's something that people should do. I have no problem with it. I'm on flights all the time where someone's talking behind me. They're talking to the person next to them. Well, what's the difference between the person behind me talking to someone next to them, or even the person next to me talking to the person next to them? What's the difference other than people talking? And you know what? People are going to talk on planes. So it doesn't bother me a bit. Does not bother me a bit. If they want to have a conversation, they've got to know that I'm going to be listening. And hell, that may even be better entertainment than in-flight entertainment. You know, what if you're listening to a guy, you know, talk his girlfriend off a ledge, like, no, hun, it was chocolate. It was chocolate. It was chocolate. Because she was complaining because there was something on his collar. It was chocolate.
Oh.
It was chocolate covered cherry. Could have been something else. I don't know what I'm saying. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It doesn't bother me. It would not bother me if that, I mean, it wouldn't bother me either way, but it really wouldn't bother me if people were allowed to talk on their phones in the plane. Because what are we going to do? Ban people from talking? Ah! All right, hon, what do you think about that?
Well, do you think people still have that idea that it's going to interfere with the airplane?
People have that idea, but an electric razor pushes out more interference that could screw with the plane signal than all the phones or tablets combined.
Yeah.
Like it's not. People do it anyway. I'm sure they've been doing it. Hell, I've probably been guilty of accidentally not turning on airplane mode. But you know what? I've taken recordings of takeoffs and landings in the planes, as you guys have very well seen in the vlogs, and love doing it. And that I know of, it's not caused any issues. You know, I mean, the plane's not any more bumpy because I'm using a digital camera. You know,
Yeah.
that's a plane bumpy. Here, this is what I'm doing.
I don't mind because I put my earplugs in. Earbuds.
Right,
in.
right, to listen to something else.
So it's like, go ahead.
Just turn up the music louder.
Yeah.
Just lose your hearing. But honey, I'm sorry, I'm getting like messaged on the phone is vibrating here, telling me I need to pay attention to. I hate multitasking sometimes. Really, I do. You know, I was just talking about this with Vish from Intel last night. Oh, I met Bob Duffy for the first time in real life. Oh, and I shared this on my Facebook page, so you guys have to go look. That's Bob Duffy. I've known him for years online. He works with Intel and social media efforts. This is the first time I met him face to face last night. He introduced me to a guy, and he said, "Well, he does development." And I'm like, "Okay, cool." And Bob was wearing a shirt with a Lego or minifigure on the front of it. And of course, I was like, total, yeah, that's awesome. And then this guy said that he worked in Denmark for a number of years with a team who developed the Mindstorm software interface. And I was, what? I was like, that is so awesome. So I was standing, I got to shake the hand of the guy who created, I mean, it's so exciting. This is like a celebrity to me. I'm melting. I'm like, So I've got a picture of me standing next. I'm sorry. I've always turned on airplane mode in airplanes.
Someone told on you.
That was fast. Gosh, NSA must be out there because, damn, this isn't even live on the internet. What else are they watching? They could watch us slept last night because we were over there in that bed. I'm not going to go into my dream that I had because it was really wasn't it really bizarre? Yeah. I never detail my dreams anymore, but I really detail them with you. Yeah. And she was like,
but you never really dream.
I do, but this was pretty dramatic. It was pretty vivid. I don't want to go in. Now I'm thinking about that. Okay, back to unitasking, as I was trying to say before I sidetracked myself. Thank you very much. There's something to be said about not multitasking. Like, I'm on a computer and I'm doing 13 different things. I can't get 13 things done. And to this point, I almost want something that just allows me to focus on one thing at a time. I don't want to jump over to something else. I got to take care of this one thing. This is the thing that I have to pay attention to. Otherwise, I will distract myself. That you don't have to encourage me to distract myself. It's just going to happen. The U.S. government is set to give up, speaking of NSA, oversight powers of the internet. And this news came into me by John Hales. Thank you, John, for passing along the news. I always appreciate when you guys email me bits of unique news that aren't necessarily making the major headlines. Love talking about this stuff, if only because I don't know if many people knew that the U.S. had oversight over the internet. And the internet, to me, is a global society. Has no boundaries. It's not a geophysical presence. It's just where we live. I live on the internet. I was recognized as someone who did I do the research before or after TLDR yesterday? I was recognized for being from the internet. I can't remember if I said that though. On TLDR, the woman apparently who recognized me was a fellow nerd. She has a company that has a VR AR headset. They are based in Seattle, and she taught herself electrical engineering to the point where she was able to make a Commodore 64 joystick 30-in-1 game controller back in 2004, and now she has this other piece of hardware, which we may end up recording separately in a video as well, because it may be interesting, visually interesting. So, so it's good to see that the U.S. is kind of ceding some amount of control to other countries, because the internet doesn't belong to any one entity. It belongs to us. It belongs to the world. I believe that. There's an app out that allows you now to avoid people. If you head over to usecloak.com, it's kind of like an antisocial network. So imagine you're in a city that you want to be in, but you want to avoid certain people. This app will watch their check-ins in various places so that you know where not to go. Huh? That's pretty impressive. It's that I can see on the website. It's only available for iOS. I'm lucky enough not to have any stalkers, but if you guys want to stalk me, I'm just saying. I'd like to be able to use the app for a reason. We're giving you a chance to stalk us today in San Francisco.
Yes.
That's over the, yeah. She wanted to do it. She wanted to do the meetup. She wanted to meet you in real life. I'm like, are you sure? You always get nervous.
Well, I don't want no one to show up. Because like I said,
we're hoping for one person.
It's like having a birthday party.
And no one shows up. Right. Well, this is just going to have to be an adventure. We haven't even started vlogging today because we've been getting ready to do the day and like this stuff. So I'm moderating the panel about cross-platformism, and last night over dinner with a couple of the panelists, we were talking about their use of HTML5 and open standards. There is a new open standard called WebCL. This should be exciting for you if you love games or 3D stuff and graphics and all that stuff. So WebCL will soon allow web developers to harness the power of multi-core GPUs and CPUs from the web browser. Currently, they cannot. This is an amazing bit of news, and it comes out of the Khronos Group, and that's the industry consortium that is basically responsible for the standards like WebGL, OpenGL. This is WebCL. And apparently, developers could port over their OpenCL code to WebCL to help accelerate graphics and usability of the web browser. Right? This is an amazing announcement, I think, not to be understated, and I don't know if that would have floated across your radar if I had not mentioned it. I think it's big news, but it'll certainly become a bit more prevalent in the coming months and years as more developers adopt it, and I'm sure people will, or developers will. Right now, you can try it with a Firefox extension, but I'd imagine that the functionality will eventually be baked directly into the web browser, at least within a year, if not two. So this is very good news, a great evolution from WebGL and OpenGL to see WebCL. Very, very nice. Twitch's first iOS game integration will be in Asphalt 8. The update has not been pushed out yet. I am considering that, well, no, because I suck at Asphalt. I don't want to Twitch on Asphalt. That sounds weird. Are you okay? Mm-hmm. Okay. You were staring at nothing, so I was getting worried. She gets this blank look at times. Was it because I was talking about WebCL? It was. I know. Sorry about that. Pandora is set to raise its subscription prices. Oh, by the way, the Twitch iOS stuff, you might remember last week I think I talked about it, or the week before in TLDR. Twitch has basically opened their SDK to other iOS developers. So see more Twitch. You should see more Twitch integration in iOS. And that is likely, if I find a game that I like and love to play, I will likely be using Twitch from an iOS device. Pandora is set to raise its subscription prices, if only because of licensing fees. It's just outrageous. They're dropping their annual subscription plan. We don't really listen to Pandora as much anymore, or at least Diana doesn't. She tends to use Spotify. We just share an account because it's more affordable that way. I'm fine with that, other than, hearing random. Got money. This is all the music she listens to. That or Britney Spears saying the B word.
Yeah.
All morning. That's all I heard. Work it, B word. Work it, B word. Work it, B word. Work it, B word. Doesn't sound as nice as she says it.
Your mom kind of liked that song.
Yeah, she did. That really, I didn't want to really, show that to Mom or have her listen to it. But I did it as kind of a joke. I played it in the car on our way to Anacortes the other day. And, yeah, Mom did like the song. Work it, B word. Work it, B word. That would be a great title for this video, but I don't think we're going to go with that. Google Chromecast is now available in Canada. The big news to me is that Google Chromecast was not previously available in Canada. So congratulations, Canadians. And we do have Canadians in our community. This is pretty exciting for you, or should be really exciting for you. Google Chromecast, very, very affordable. I would not say is a full-on Apple TV replacement, but for some people, it's enough of a replacement. I love Apple TV, not because of the content, but because of AirPlay mirroring. That's the number one reason I would suggest an Apple TV, and to me, that's worth $99. AirPlay mirroring is awesome if you have a Mac that supports it, or if you have an iOS device, period. I think this is really all I have time to cover today. Definitely have to start wrapping it up because we have to make the walk down the street to make sure that the one person that I'm sure is there waiting for us can say hello. I know, hon. It's a horrible time to have a meetup. It is. But hey, here's the thing. We tried. We did our best. And we know we're traveling and we want to meet up with you guys. And we don't have a regular schedule. I'm working on, I don't know if it's going to happen. We're selling merchandise through shop.lockergnome.com, the geeky hoodies and stuff. In fact, I'm going to put mine on now just to show you what kind of geeky hoodies we have. This is what I'm wearing today on stage in the for the panel. Boy, it's going to be warm.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's not too warm in the in Moscone Center where we're going. Anyway, you know how I'm wave your arms or something so that they know that the video's not frozen.
I feel like I should have a halo over me.
You are kind of angelic. All right, so I'm wearing this today. We're reselling geeky hoodies, geeky merchandise, and I was going to wear it anyway, but then last night we totally had, like, everybody at the table is a Star Wars geek. It was awesome. So if you don't know, this is the X-Wing pilot uniform, hoodie, whatever. So I'm going to be wearing this on the streets of San Francisco. So I'm working on a plan to get to a lot of the major Comic-Cons across the United States over the next year. I'm working on a plan. So there is a chance that we will be able to meet face-to-face. And, of course, there we'll be selling our geeky stuff directly to people. But then I would want to be live streaming, much like I do TLDR if I can, from the booth, or recording videos and meeting and mixing and taking pictures with the community. But that would be about 10 to 12 events over the course of a year across the United States. So there may be a really good chance, if you live in the U.S., that we'd be able to connect that way. You could come up to Blogger Fair in Seattle, August 16th, of course, if you want. But the only way that's going to happen, I think, is if I'm able to land a big sponsor to offset costs, because travel costs a lot of money. But that is the plan, and I'm working on that, even though I'm not much of a traveler. So at least we tried. At least we gave it an attempt to connect with you while we were here in San Francisco, ever so briefly, spending our time with you. Because we appreciate when you spend your time on us. Time is the one thing that you can't get back. Which is another reason why I appreciate the patronage, the ongoing monthly support that is going to allow me to do more things, better things, things that you appreciate, because I appreciate.
Bless you.
I appreciate you. Don't need to wash these pans now, I just did it. They'll air dry. Allergies. Even in San Francisco, allergies. Thank you for tuning in, for remembering to like, comment, share, subscribe, watch even more of our videos right now. And if you don't, that's okay too. We just appreciate it if you can. At this time, I am going to leave you to your own devices. We'll see you later.